In our gospel lesson today, a man said to Jesus, "I want to follow you wherever you go." This is the kind of enthusiasm Jesus likes. To put things in perspective, the man wasn't asking for California or Hawaii or someplace within 15 miles closer to home. He was asking only to follow Jesus wherever he might be going. How could Jesus find fault with him? But Jesus was less enthusiastic for the man than the man was for Jesus. Jesus replied, "Foxes have holes, and birds of the sky have nests, but the Son of Man have no place to lay his head." I don't know how do you feel about Jesus' response, but I feel a little disappointed. The man didn't do anything wrong. He just offered to follow Jesus. But we must remember that God sees the hidden desires of our hearts. Sometimes our lips say one thing, but our hearts mean another. When that happens, God knows it. We cannot fool God even for a moment. He's not deceived by our false enthusiasm. God is not taken by our false promises. The man in the gospel story said, "anywhere." But he did really mean it. The man didn't know where Jesus was going. Where was Jesus going? Jesus was going to Jerusalem to die. The man of the story doesn't know Jesus' final fate. Even Jesus' disciples didn't have a clue. The man who offered to follow Jesus did not understand that. He said that he was willing to follow Jesus anywhere. But that wasn't true. He wanted to follow Jesus to his glory, but without doing his requested tasks. He wanted a free pass to the glory of God. This is about true discipleship. Jesus calls us to true discipleship. He issues difficult challenges, but he always acts in love. I am sure that Jesus loved this anywhere man who was offering to sign a blank check, but who didn't have it in his heart to pay the price of discipleship. I use my imagination, and I can picture Jesus thinking, he would have thought something like this: later, after the cross, after things have settled down and shaken out, then this man will know the cost to follow me and the cost of discipleship. Maybe then he will say anywhere one more time, and he will mean it. Then the Samaritans refused to receive Jesus, and he let them go with it. They refused to receive Jesus because he had his head set toward Jerusalem. For the Samaritans, Jerusalem was enemy territory. But Jesus wasn't their enemy. Jesus loved the Samaritans. John and James, the sons of the thunder, wanted to call down fire and erase the Samaritans from the face of the earth. But Jesus rebuked them. Jesus taught his disciples a lesson of unconditional love. He wanted to save the Samaritans too. Jesus does that with us too. He calls us. He waits for us. He meets us where we are. He loves us unconditionally. We offer to follow him anywhere, but we really mean California. We say, Lord, I will follow you. But before you make the final decision, let me make 3 choices. Call me to Napa Valley, or call me to Sonoma, or call me to San Francisco. That's the moment where the mushiness of our hearts is revealed and the emptiness of our hearts. Then Jesus sees it. And you know what? His unconditional love is so amazing that he loves us back anyway. Jesus calls you to a real and full of sacrifices for discipleship. But he never calls anyone to an aimless discipleship. He calls us to make a difference in our lives and the lives of the people that we touch. It can get messy sometimes, but it would never be pointless. Once we decide to follow him, he will take us to unexpected places where we will be recipients of surprising grace. These days I came across on an article of the U2 band and the lead singer Bono. I don't know if many of you know that Bono is a committed Christian. Since his mother died when he was young, he found solace and comfort in scriptures, especially in the Psalms. When Bono was asked if he thought that Jesus was the truth, the way, and the life, he replied, Jesus isn't letting you off the hook. The scriptures don't let you off the hook so easily. When people say, good teacher, prophet, really nice guy, this is not how Jesus thought of himself. So you are left with a challenge in that, which is either Jesus was who he said he was, or a complete nutcase. You have to make a choice on that. And I believe that Jesus was, the Son of God. And I understand that we need to be really, really respectful to people who find that ridiculous. And this is what Jesus wanted to make his disciples understand with their encounter with the Samaritans. The world is messy, and we need to remain with our head high and centered in God's message of love. We should remain consistent in what we believe and our faith. We should remain firm in our correlation of our hearts and our deeds. If God is for us, who is against us? Yes, we are called to live and lead by example, following the ultimate example, that is Jesus. So remember this, life is hard. It won't be easy because the tests life presents before us are so big that we feel we cannot overcome them. And Jesus is asking you, as hard as it is, to follow him. Because in him and God's unconditional love, your yoke is easy and your burden is light. Amen.